I was deathly afraid of her even from the sight when I first saw her. God certainly has his funny ways, because I was trying to get away from her, but where do you go? What do you do? I used to stay away from her as much as I could, and I kept running away. And whenever I had a few pennies, I could, subway was a nickel, for instance. And I used to get on the subway and ride from one end of Manhattan to the other, hoping that the conductor wouldn't see me, because they used to have conductors on the subways at the time. And then get off on the other end and get back on and he couldn't see me.
You seem to be
and just keep riding all night long until daybreak.
running away from your life.
But I don't think I was running away from life. I was running away from rejection. I was running away from not being accepted. I was terribly afraid of her. Of the Christian duty, because she got a letter from Therefore. She decided that she would take me up into New York, but she wasn't any better. She was Therefore. She decided that
You seem to be
and just keep riding.
You seem to be
and just keep riding all night long until daybreak.
running away from your life.
But rejection. I was running away from not being accepted.
Is that
Where do you go? What do you do? I used and I used to get on the subway at night from one end of Manhattan to the Mr. Gogan, you know something? I'm not an extrovert. And then get off on the other end and get back on and couldn't see me.
You seem to be
And just keep riding all night long until daybreak.
running away from your life. Do you find that, is that why you think perhaps you're an extrovert, that you're looking for attention, you're looking for affection?
But Mr. Gogan, you know something? I'm not an extrovert. Chairs behind Mr. Gogan, you know something? I'm not an extrovert. I think running away from life. I was running away from
Do you find that, is that why you think perhaps you're an extrovert?
I could possibly find a hide behind. Because I never get chairs behind everything you possibly could. Forget it. I'm hiding on behind the bushes, behind the chairs, behind everything you possibly could. I could possibly find a hide behind. Because I never have been with that kind of security within Bertha May that makes me feel that she would ever be accepted. I realize that more and more. And that's why maybe sometimes I am going around looking like the urchin that I really know I am inside of myself. And not wearing any makeup and not caring about what I look like. That little ugly duckling was always told she's an ugly duckling. Nobody wants you. And she's trying so hard to find somebody that says, "Hey, it's all right. You want it too. Want it too." But nobody's done that yet. Maybe I want it too. She's an ugly chairs behind everything you possibly could. I could possibly find a hide behind. Because I could possibly find a hide behind. Because I'm the urchin that I really know I am inside of myself. And not wearing any makeup and not caring about what I look like. That little ugly duckling was always told she's an ugly duckling. Nobody wants you. And she's trying so hard to find somebody that says, "Hey, it's all right. You want it too." But nobody's done that yet. Maybe I haven't given them a chance to do so. I don't know. But she keeps hoping. With that kind of security within Bertha May, that makes me feel that she will ever be going around looking like the urchin run away from rejection. I was running away from not being accepted. Not given them a chance to do so, I don't know. But she keeps hoping.
But you must have, people must have shown you affection and love in your life. Is it that you can't accept?
The public and my daughter, yes. The public If it wasn't
never
for
a man.
public, a man has always wanted to lay me down, but he never wanted to pick me up. A man has always wanted to lay me down, but a man has always wanted to lay me down, but he never wanted to pick me up. But he never wanted to pick me up. And the men that did have real love and affection for me were the ones that never touched me. Have real love and affection for me were the ones that never touched me. If it wasn't for public, a man did have, there were a couple of real love, strong love that men have had for me. But then the mothers step in. I think very often the mothers, particularly with boys who come from extremely wealthy families and they are the only son, they would rather them marry trash than marry someone of color, no matter how wonderful the person, that person of color may be. Who know me well enough to realize that Eartha May or Kitty, whomever they want to call me, she's okay.